Yeah, man, the Just Blaze that was on Instagram and Twitter before I made them give me the name was this dude, all he used to do was post topless pictures of himself. His whole Instagram was just selfies of him topless on the beach, in the bed.
Niggas be like, man, this nigga Just Blaze crazy as a motherfucker. I kind of don't want to follow my nigga no more. If he posts a picture of another nigga with his shirt off, I ain't fucking with this nigga no more, man.
Yo, I had to unfollow you. I'm like, it's not even me.
Players and pimps, ladies and gentlemen, what it do is your host with the most, Finding Nemo, aka Nemo Hoes, and you inside the GGN News Network. And today I got one of my homeboys from way back in the house, producer extraordinaire, yes sir, Jersey's finest, Just Blaze.
Snoop, what up?
How with your family?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, it's good to see you, loved one.
Likewise.
Man, so for those who don't know, Just Blaze is one of the producers who's been around for a long time and, you know, been doing this thing, making dope music, inspiring other producers to be like at the same time, you know, being innovative and creative. You know, a lot of hit records he made, a lot of things he's done in the past that has taken hip-hop to a whole nother plateau. So the question is, what is Just Blaze doing now for 2015?
2015 and 14, I've been doing a lot of touring. I've been on the road heavily. I had a record that kind of broke out in the EDM world about 2 years ago. And, you know, like Hov always used to say, one record to change your life. You know, and it put me on a whole different course, gave me a whole new fan base. And I went from sitting in the studio 24 hours a day to all of a sudden playing for crowds of 24,000 people. You know, as an artist and just seeing the world and connecting with the fans on a whole different level. So it's been great. You know, now that I'm back off the road for a bit, I'm wrapping up the new Slaughterhouse album. So we're in the last phases of that now. We're mixing. We got about another week's worth of mixing left. And then hopefully that'll be out to the world by the end of the year.
That's a good thing. Shout out to the homeboys from Slaughterhouse.
Yes, sir.
What about movie-wise, score-wise? You get into any of that?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. So I did, a couple of years back, I got a random phone call from a homie of mine, asked me to help them out with the A-Team movie. They needed some, you know, remember they remade that about 4 years ago.
Exactly.
And then they called me back 2-3 years later out of nowhere, like, hey, you want to work on Ice Age?
Wow.
And that's real money.
Wow.
Yeah. So ended up doing that, and then actually just got a call from them. They want me to fly back. Well, we're in LA now, but they want me to come back out here after I'm finished with this last run that I'm on, and go over a few other projects because they want to get me in on something. So I don't know if that's going to lead to it. Even if I did know, I probably couldn't say. You know, because the NDAs is in effect. But I'm looking out for something else soon.
Man, you own it like you want it, dog. And it's like, how does it feel to be able to go to a whole nother genre of music and still maintain your hip-hop aura?
Well, you know, I'm from New Jersey. So I grew up, the area that I grew up in North Jersey, it was always about hip-hop and house music. They kind of coexisted. And it's one of the few places at that time in the 90s where you could go to a party and hear, say, Redman, and then hear Cashmere in the same night. You know, so I've always kind of had the sensibility of both. I grew up with both. So the cool thing about it is, people always ask me, what's the transition like? And I have to explain to people, it's actually not a transition. It's me getting able to expose another side of what I do. And it was something that I grew up loving to the rest of the world. You know, I've always been known for one thing. So to some people, I'm a brand new act.
That's dope.
Yeah, which is real dope. At this stage
dope.
in my career, to come out and have kids be like, oh, Just Blaze, oh, that's the kid, the dude that did such and such.
And then when they find out that you Just Blaze, who did all of that
Right.
shit from all
it
the
all
years,
comes together.
and
So
that-
so what I've been doing in my shows is, you know, I start out with the history lesson. Like, let me give you the first 15 years.
Yeah, let me tell you what I done did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then
This
we
is
go
what
into
I'm
the
doing.
Exactly.
This is why you here, but let me tell you why I'm here.
Exactly.
You know
That's
what
the
I'm
best, I
saying?
never even thought about it. That's the best way to put it.
No,
Let me tell you
for
why.
real.
Let me tell you why I'm here.
They want it, and they
Right.
love it, and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
And they understand who we are, and there's music that they love. They love us for even bringing them music.
Right. That's a big difference I noticed between audiences in the States and audiences abroad. Part of me is that I feel like, you know, we birthed this culture, we birthed the music, but along with that, you get a little bit of jadedness because, or it's taken for granted. You know, if you think about it, you think back to say like the early '80s, where the only place you might have heard rap was in New York. and everybody from out of town had to wait till their cousin came to visit for the summer with a tape or whatever. So with a lot of these overseas audiences, it's kind of the same thing where they have to. It's not accessible. They can't walk out. They can't walk out the street and see you just happen to drive by or walk by. They can't, walk into a store and see Jay walking out the dealership with a car or something. There's just a different level of exposure that they don't have. Now with the internet, a lot of that has changed.
Now they can actually see us virtually.
Exactly, and then we actually come to them for real. Live
It brings
in
a
person.
virtual reality.
Exactly. Like I ain't gonna front. The first time I went to Japan, they had me feeling like I was Michael Jackson. They was waiting outside the airport with posters, asked me to sign records. Girls was crying, and I'm like,
My nigga was like, man, this is some crazy shit.
yeah, and after a while you start to understand it's because they have a deeper level of appreciation.
Man, when I went over there, motherfuckers had their hair braided.
Yep.
They was wearing khaki suits. They had lowriders at the airport.
Yep.
Like this shit, like I understand what you mean. The level of like, wow, they really love.
But the crazy thing is, might not speak a word of English.
Didn't
But that same show that I'm talking about, it was a tour, and that first night I did, actually the second night, I did a show at this spot called Harlem in Tokyo.
I did that too.
Yeah, so I did Harlem in Tokyo. So the entire night, the entire crowd is singing every song word for word for word. And I'm watching them, they're all singing them. So afterwards, went up to the VIP, posted up there, just hanging out for a bit with my family. And they were letting people come in. So I'm attempting to have conversations with people thinking, y'all knew all the words.
Let's holler.
Yeah. They know a word of English, but they know the words to every song. Might not even know what it means.
Man, you know what was crazy? We was doing a show in Osaka. Motherfucker was rocking. And nigga said, let me hear you say, ho. Motherfucker was saying nothing, right?
They have no idea what you just
We
said.
said, well, we need to take that part of the show out.
Yeah.
Let's stop communicating. Just do the motherfucking song.
Right.
That's all the fuck these motherfuckers know.
Yep.
So tell us about the EDM festival.
The festival game has been crazy. I mean, like I said, I did this record about 2.5, 3 years ago. It was called Higher. Me, the homie Bauer, and Jay ended up giving us some vocals for it. And it was we were doing a little small tour, maybe 10 dates or so, that my homie Calendar had put together. And it was supposed to be a small 10-city run, real quick, in and out. All of a sudden, the record took off virally on its own. I only tweeted it 2 times. Next thing, a couple days later, it had 1 million plays, which on SoundCloud, especially at that time, wasn't
unheard of.
Yeah, wasn't a normal thing. So it went from a 10-city thing to a 12-city thing to a 15-city thing, and then my homie that I did the record with, he's the dude who did the Harlem Shake record. So that went viral in the middle of the tour.
Wow.
So imagine what that did. We're on the road as this record is becoming a global phenomenon. That next year, I'm on stage at Ultra, playing for tens of thousands of people. And it's a mind-blowing experience because as producers, especially more so than anybody else, we usually see these 4 walls. 4 walls and a drum machine and a laptop screen. That's all we see. So to be able to get on the road and play for 20, 30, 40,000 people, it's a different way of connecting with them. I mean, you see this all the time. You've been touring for years as an artist. The DJ has only become recognized as the artist,
recently.
Exactly.
Like
So
he finally getting his just due again.
right, which is ironic because hip hop started out with the DJ in the forefront,
And it always comes back around
Yeah.
full circle.
Right.
You can't never deny the true element of what it was. Before we had drum machines, all we had was a DJ and breaks. And like I was saying, back in my day when I first started rapping,
Right.
niggas couldn't afford a drum machine. My cousins had the 1200s, and he would blend this song with this song, and he have a mic, nigga, and you better rap over that.
Rap
beat.
over that.
And he
Right.
he was the producer.
Right, exactly. And so to be able to now come from that, and it's the same way I started out in my mom's living room, with one turntable and a tape deck, and finally got a second turntable for Christmas and whatnot. So to go from that to being on these stages all over the world, it gives you a different appreciation for the work that you've put in, because now you're actually getting to see how it affects people. It's one thing to be in a club and hear your record ring off at 2 a.m. It's another thing to throw your record on yourself. You're doing a whole set of your own music that you've produced and have a crowd of 30,000 people rocking with you. It's a beautiful feeling, man. It's beautiful.
Man, that's heavy. That's good, man. I like to see that because The DJ game has been good to me too.
I'm already knowing.
It has been good to me. Like, I'm thinking about holding off on the Snoop Dogg shit for a minute. The DJ game, it's a little bit more exciting to me, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Take a break, switch it up.
For real though, I'm having fun with it. Just Blaze, if you had an opportunity to work with any artist that was other than hip hop, who would you want to work with?
It's outside of hip hop, but it's actually the foundation of hip hop. I would say James Brown. He was the architect that kind of gave us our foundation. And the things that he could do just with his, he didn't understand, I shouldn't say understand, he understood music. He didn't know music, he just understood it. He couldn't sit there and chart something out for you or tell you, notate a record. He just said, yo, Bobby, you do this. Clyde, you do this. All right, you do this, play. Be in this key. And then he would just give you the cue, horns, and the horns do what they had to do. And it was just that live energy. Part of the reason why his records were so good is because there was a spontaneous energy to them. Because a lot of those records were done on the fly. And I understand that because I feel like a lot of my biggest hit records, when I think back to them, a lot of them have always been spontaneous. Like a lot of records that of mine that did really well, we didn't plan. It wasn't contrived. It wasn't all right, we have to make a hit single today. It was, let's just go in and make something. And next thing you know, in some cases, an hour later, it's on the radio, and a week later, it's number one at Billboard. So going back to what I was saying about him, that same spontaneity, I felt like we could just made some magic.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
That's heavy.
What's my name again? Stormy Front. Yeah. I am Stormy Front, reporting the weather from Nippletown, Utah. It's just Nipple? Just Nipple. Okay. Where the hell are these places? I am Stormy Front, reporting the weather from Nipple, Utah. It's snowing nipples.
I got this thing called Inside the Smoker Section, right? I'm gonna ask you some questions. You answer to the best of your ability.
Yes, sir.
What's the first thing you do or think of when you wake up?
When I first wake up, I think of how much longer can I go back to sleep for? I don't get to sleep much. After that, my second thought is don't check your email. Because I'm not a morning person, and I have this habit of, I usually sleep, we in the studio late, so I might not get up till a little bit later in the day. People have already started conducting business. They're in the office by 9, 10 a.m. They're sending out their emails. They're doing what they got to do. And sometimes not all news is good news when you wake up to an email, or we wake up in the morning in general. And I have this habit of waking up, seeing an email that might not be some good news or something that I might not really be too happy about, and making the mistake of responding to it. In a way that normally, if I had maybe been up for about an hour or two.
Right state of mind.
Yeah.
Hot or cold?
Cold, because it's much easier to warm up than it is to cool down. Think about it. If it's hot outside, it ain't nothing you can do. If it's cold out, throw a hoodie on. If it's a little bit colder than that, throw a jacket on. I'd much rather be in the cold. That said, I'm about to come out here because I'm tired of New York winters.
That nigga like, I need to get where it's hot at.
I can't do it no more.
What's your favorite pair of shoes all time?
Definitely the Jordan 3. The Jordan 3 was the first time that I actually saw, when we was kids, things like kangaroos and zips and whatnot were popping, pro kids. And it was the first shoe that I ever, Mom's had bought me nice shoes here and there, but it was the first time I said, Mom, I need that. But, Jordan was 100 plus.
Yeah.
And this was
every nigga from the hood wasn't getting them.
Right. So I think that actually what made me want it even more because we couldn't have it. And one of my homies, who was that? Jose, had got, his mom got it for him for Christmas. We took turns wearing the shit out of them sneakers. Me, him, and my homie Tommy, we would just rotate. Go to the mall on the weekend. I get to wear them one Friday. He gets to wear them the next Friday. Tommy gets to wear them the next Friday. We just rotated them. When they first retroed those, I was in Salt Lake City. I was on a tour. We was performing in a mall parking lot. They had took over the whole mall parking lot. I was like, yo, forget the show. I'm going to the mall. And I was in the Foot Locker and I bought every pair. They had 10 pairs of each size. I bought all 10 pairs of 10 and a half. Macho Man. You remember he used to do the slap into a
Randy
Slim Jim?
Macho Man
Yeah.
Savage.
So
Randy, yeah, the
wrestler.
nigga, yeah, exactly.
So he was the host for the tour. So I'm sitting there in the Foot Locker, but the Foot Locker was right by the mall entrance. So I hear him on the
About to
stage.
intro you?
Yeah, like, give it up for Just Blaze. Oh yeah. And I'm still in the Foot Locker. So I had to like, yo, I'll come back for these. Left them there, paid for them already. You know, ran out, did the show, went back, got the sneakers. Yeah, definitely the Jordan 3.
Love it.
Definitely.
Hey, the Jordan 3s is the ones, not the 2s.
Yes, sir.
Weekends or weekdays?
It's all the same for me. I do shows on the weekends, do shows during the week. I just try to sleep when I can in between. Try to take Sundays off, but Sundays usually end up being the day that you're flying back in from being on the road for the weekend.
Getting back to where you're getting to.
Yep.
Money. If you were stuck on the island for a year and could only listen to 3 albums, what would they be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. 3 albums. Enter the Wu-Tang. Maybe Pete Rock and CL Smooth's second album, Main Ingredient.
Is that the one with 1 in a Millions on it? 1 in a Million?
That was on the soundtrack in between the first album and the second album.
That shit right
Yeah.
there go hard.
And actually, Rock Marciano, the album that has Tech to a Mac on it, that Marsburg.
All right, I'm gonna start it. You finish the sentence.
All right, hold up.
I always wake up. Secondhand context, Smoke, my fault.
It's all good.
I always wake up.
Happy to have woken up.
If I could work with anybody dead or alive, I'd want to work with.
Ooh, anybody dead or alive that I could work with? Michael Jackson.
If I could see anybody perform dead or alive, I'd want to see.
Michael Jackson.
I look for blank in a woman.
Brains and wit.
If I wasn't a boss, I'd be a.
Computer programming boss.
My name is Just Blaze, and I'm a
Man of the people.
people's champ, y'all. You heard it right here on the GGN News Network. I'm your host with the most, Finding Nemo, aka Nemo Host, and I want to thank my guest, Just Blaze, for sliding through, telling us about what he doing and what he got going on. You can hit him up at
Just Blaze on Twitter, at Just Blaze on Instagram, Facebook.com/Just Blaze. You know, when you own your name, it's easy.
Okay, like that there, right?
There it is.
See, ownership is key, man.
Definitely.
It's called ownership, because it's called show business, right? Once you learn the show, get the business, but at the same time, you should be getting the business while you're getting the show.
Exactly.
Hello. Church, preach, tabernacle.